Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. We like to go beyond the headlines and really dig into the details of all things AI. And today we're doing something really cool. We're going to be looking not just at what AI can do, but how it thinks.
Yeah, it's like peeking into the mind of a supercomputer.
I like that,
Yeah.
peeking into the mind of a supercomputer. And to help us unravel this mystery, we're diving into an article from the OpenAPI Hub community. It was published just last month, and it's titled Chain of Thought Prompting, Enhancing AI with Better Reasoning.
That's the one. And it really is all about better reasoning.
Okay, so let's start with the basics. What exactly is chain of thought prompting?
Well, you know how we usually interact with AI, like we ask it a question and it spits out an answer?
Right, pretty straightforward.
Well, chain of thought, or COT, as it's often called, is a totally different approach. It's about guiding the AI to think through problems step by step.
So instead of just giving a direct answer, it lays out its reasoning process.
Exactly, like it's showing its work.
Oh, I see. So it's like when a teacher shows you how to solve a math problem, you see each step and understand the logic?
That's a great analogy. It makes the AI's output much more transparent and understandable.
Which makes sense if we're talking about enhancing AI with better reasoning. But does this actually make the AI better? Like, does it get smarter or more accurate?
That's the really interesting part. The article highlights cases where COT prompting has dramatically improved accuracy in all sorts of fields.
Like what? Give me an example.
Well, one area they talk about is drug discovery. Imagine an AI that not only suggests potential new drugs, but also explains the chemical reasoning behind its suggestions.
Wow, that would be incredible. Researchers could really understand why the AI thinks a certain drug might work.
Exactly. And that kind of transparency could accelerate breakthroughs in all sorts of scientific fields.
Okay, I'm definitely intrigued. But let's back up a bit. How does this COTI thing actually work? Is it like teaching the AI to think like a human scientist?
That's a great question. It's not about replicating human thought exactly. It's more about giving the AI a framework for logical reasoning.
A framework for logical reasoning. Okay, I'm following.
And the article outlines three main types of COT prompting. There's zero-shot COT, few-shot COT, and automatic chain of thought.
Okay, 3 different flavors. Let's break those down. What's zero-shot COTI?
Zero-shot COT is when you give the AI a problem to solve without any prior examples or training.
So it's like solving a brand new puzzle.
Exactly. And the article gives a simple example. It's like a logic problem.
Right.
Like I have 15 apples. I gave 5 to my friend. How many do I have left?
Okay, a classic. So how does the AI tackle that with zero-shot COTI?
Well, it's given the problem and the instruction. Let's think step by step.
Let's think step by step. Interesting. So it's like prompting it to think out loud.
In a way, yes. And the output is something like, I start with 15, take away 5. So I'm left with 10. You see the reasoning laid out clearly.
Wow, that's pretty cool. It actually breaks down the steps just like a person would.
Yeah, right. It's fascinating to see the AI arriving at the answer through a logical process.
Okay, that's zero-shot. What about few-shot COTI? Is that like giving the AI a little bit of help?
It's more like giving it a few examples to learn from before it tackles a new problem.
Oh, okay, so it's like showing it how to solve similar problems first.
Precisely. And the article demonstrates this with simple subtraction problems.
Yeah.
The AI sees a few examples, then it's given a new one, and it can apply that knowledge to get the answer.
So it's learning by example, but then going beyond just mimicking what it's seen.
That's the key. It's not just rote memorization. It's about understanding the underlying logic and applying it to new situations.
Okay, that's pretty impressive. But you mentioned a third type, automatic chain of thought. What's that all about?
Now that's where things get really futuristic. Imagine a massive database of questions, all categorized by type.
Okay, I'm picturing it.
AutoKey can sift through this data and automatically create reasoning chains for new problems without needing specific examples each time.
So it's like the AI is building its own reasoning framework based on this vast knowledge base.
Exactly. It's learning to think for itself in a way that's pretty mind-blowing.
Okay, I'm officially blown away. Can you give me a real-world example of where this auto COTI might be used?
Think about a medical AI learning from millions of patient cases. Using AutoCo, it could potentially develop unique treatment plans explaining its reasoning based on all that data.
Okay, now that's what I call a deep dive. We're talking about AI that not only diagnoses, but also explains its medical reasoning.
That's the potential of COT prompting. It's not just about faster results. It's about making those results understandable and trustworthy.
Trustworthy, that's a good point. But hold on, if AI can reason like this, are we talking about it being smart in a human way?
That's a question philosophers have been debating for centuries. The real breakthrough with COT isn't about replicating human intelligence. It's about creating a bridge between how AI processes information and how we understand logic.
That makes sense. So we've got these different types of COT prompting, but where is this actually being used? Is it just a theoretical concept, or is it out there in the real world?
Oh, it's definitely being used.
Yes.
And that's what we'll dive into next. The applications of COT are popping up everywhere, from making complex calculations to helping us understand everyday scenarios.
So it's not just about theoretical logic puzzles, it's about making AI more useful in the real world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we're going to explore how COT is being used in fields as diverse as medicine education and even customer service.
Okay, now I'm really intrigued. Can't wait to hear more about how this is all playing out in the real world. We'll be back right after this break.
Welcome back. Now, where were we? Ah, yes, real-world applications of COT.
Yeah, I'm ready to hear about how this is actually making a difference out there.
One area where it's already having a big impact is education.
Education. Really? Tell me more.
Imagine AI tutors that don't just give you the answers, but actually guide you through each step of a problem.
Okay, so instead of just telling me the capital of France is Paris, it would walk me through how to find that information on a map.
Exactly. It could explain the concepts, the logic behind the answer, the whole shebang.
That sounds amazing, especially for subjects that a lot of people struggle with, like math or physics.
Precisely. And think about how COT could personalize education tailoring explanations to each student's learning style and pace.
So it's like having a personal tutor available 24/7.
That's the idea. It could revolutionize how we learn.
Wow, okay, I see the potential there. But what about other areas? You mentioned customer service last time.
Ah, yes, customer service. Those chatbots can be pretty frustrating, can't they?
Tell me about it. Sometimes it feels like talking to a brick wall.
But with COT, those interactions could become much more meaningful. Imagine a chatbot that can understand your problem, reason through possible solutions, and explain its recommendations step by step.
So instead of just getting a generic response, it would actually engage with my specific issue.
Exactly. It could make those interactions feel much more human and less robotic.
Okay, that would be a huge improvement. But I gotta ask, all this talk about AI reasoning makes me wonder, are there any downsides to giving AI this much power?
That's a valid concern. And the article we're looking at definitely acknowledges the challenges.
Like what? What could go wrong?
Well, one of the biggest challenges is designing those prompts effectively. Remember, we're essentially giving the AI instructions for how to think.
Right, those let's think step by step kind of prompts.
Exactly. But those prompts need to be clear, unambiguous. If they're not, the AI could go off the rails.
So it's not as simple as just telling the AI to think. There's an art to it.
There's definitely a skill involved in crafting effective COT prompts. It's like writing a recipe for a complex dish. You need to be precise to get the desired result.
Too much detail and you overwhelm the AI. Too little and it's lost.
Exactly. Finding that sweet spot is crucial.
Okay, that makes sense. But even if we get the prompts right, are there other potential pitfalls?
Well, one concern is making sure the AI's reasoning process aligns with human values.
Oh, right. We don't want the AI making decisions that could be harmful or discriminatory, even if it thinks it's being logical.
Precisely. We need to make sure the AI is learning from data that reflects our ethical principles.
So it's like we're not just teaching the AI to think, we're teaching it to think responsibly.
That's a great way to put it. And it's a huge responsibility for the people developing and deploying these systems.
Absolutely. It sounds like COT is raising some big questions, not just about AI, but about ourselves and how we want to shape the future of technology.
It definitely is. But hey, let's not get too philosophical just yet. Let's bring it back to those real-world applications. You mentioned healthcare earlier.
Oh yeah, healthcare. That's a big one. Can you give me a concrete example of how COT is being used in that field?
Sure. Imagine a doctor using an AI-powered diagnostic tool.
Okay, I'm picturing it.
This tool not only identifies the patient's condition, but also explains its reasoning step by step.
So it would highlight key factors from the patient's medical history, test results, all that.
Exactly. It would be like having a super smart medical consultant right there in the exam room.
That would be incredible. But would doctors actually trust those AI recommendations?
That's where the transparency of COT comes in. By seeing the AI's thought process, doctors can understand how it arrived at a particular diagnosis or treatment plan.
So it's not about replacing doctors with AI, but about giving them a powerful tool to make better decisions.
Precisely. It's about collaboration, not replacement.
That makes sense. So it sounds like the potential of COT in healthcare is huge. But I'm curious, are there any areas where COT might not be a good fit?
That's a great question. While code is a powerful tool, it's not a universal solution. It's most effective in situations where a clear logical thought process is essential.
So for things like writing a poem or composing a symphony, we might not want the AI to be too logical and step by step.
Exactly. There are some things that require human intuition, creativity, and emotion.
That's reassuring to hear. It sounds like Coty is a tool that needs to be used thoughtfully and strategically.
Absolutely.
Right.
But I think the most exciting thing about Coty is that it's not just for specialists. It's going to impact all of us, the everyday users.
Okay, now I'm really intrigued. How is Coty going to change how we interact with AI in our daily lives?
Well, that's what we'll explore in the final part of our deep dive. Coty is going to change everything from how we search for information to how we get personalized recommendations.
All right, I'm ready for it. Bring on the future of AI. And we're back. We've been on quite the journey exploring chain of thought prompting, and now I'm ready to see how it all comes together, like how it impacts me, the average Joe Schmo, just using AI in daily life.
You got it. Coty is about to become a part of everyone's digital world, whether they realize it or not.
So less about robots doing brain surgery, more about how my phone is going to get smarter.
Exactly. Think about all those times you use a search engine.
Oh, man, countless times a day.
Right. But sometimes it feels like you're just throwing words at a wall and seeing what sticks.
Yeah, I don't always find what I'm really looking for.
That's because traditional search engines are good at matching keywords, but not at understanding the intent behind your search.
Intent.
Like, why are you searching for that? What's the deeper meaning?
Okay, that makes sense. So how would Coty change that?
Imagine a search engine powered by Coty, one that can reason through your search and figure out what you really need.
So instead of giving me a million results for best coffee beans, it would actually figure out what kind of coffee I like and why.
Exactly. It could consider your location, past searches, even the time of day, and give you a curated list of recommendations with explanations for each one.
No more sifting through pages of irrelevant links. That's a dream come true.
Right. And Coty can personalize things even further. Think about all the recommendation algorithms we encounter every day.
Oh man, don't even get me started on those. Sometimes I feel like they know me better than I know myself.
Well, Coty could actually make those recommendations even more personalized and accurate, but in a good way.
In a good way. How?
Instead of just showing you products based on your past purchases, a Coty system would understand your evolving tastes and preferences.
So it's like it learns and adapts as I change.
Exactly. For instance, let's say you're suddenly into cooking Thai food.
Ooh, I do love a good pad thai.
Right. Well, your grocery app, powered by Coty, wouldn't just recommend the same old pasta you usually buy.
It would actually suggest ingredients for Thai dishes.
Yep, it might reason. This user has been looking at Thai recipes. They bought lemongrass and fish sauce recently. Maybe they need coconut milk too.
Okay, that's kind of freaky, but also really cool. It's like the AI is reading my mind.
Well, not quite mind reading, but definitely understanding your needs and preferences on a deeper level.
But hold on, this level of personalization raises some serious privacy concerns. I mean, how much data is this AI collecting about me?
You're right, that's a crucial question. And developers need to address it carefully. Transparency is key.
Meaning?
Users should know exactly what data is being used and how it's protected. No more shady algorithms working behind the scenes.
I like that. Give me control over my data.
And the cool thing is that Coty itself can actually help with privacy too.
Really? How?
Imagine a system that not only personalizes your experience, but also explains why it's recommending something. That way, you can spot any biases or inaccuracies and make sure your data is being used responsibly.
So it's not about giving up privacy entirely, but about having more control and understanding.
Exactly. It's about empowering the user, not exploiting them.
Okay, that makes me feel a lot better. So it sounds like Coty has the potential to revolutionize the way we interact with AI in our everyday lives, but it also comes with some big responsibilities.
You hit the nail on the head. Coty is a powerful tool, but like any tool, it can be used for good or for bad.
It all comes down to how we choose to use it. And speaking of choices, we're almost out of time. So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the biggest takeaway you want our listeners to remember?
The key takeaway is this. Coty is a paradigm shift in how we interact with AI. It's not just about getting quick answers anymore. It's about understanding the reasoning behind those answers. And this will change everything.
It's like opening up the black box of AI and seeing how it actually works.
Exactly. And as COTI evolves, we're going to face some fascinating questions about the nature of intelligence, the role of technology in our lives, and even what it means to be human in this rapidly changing world.
Wow, that's a lot to ponder. But hey, that's what these deep dives are all about.
Right.
Expanding our minds and exploring the frontiers of knowledge.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, folks, that's all the time we have for today. A huge thank you to our expert for guiding us through this fascinating exploration of chain of thought prompting. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling pretty inspired.
My pleasure. It's always exciting to talk about the future of AI.
And to our listeners, we hope you found this deep dive informative and thought-provoking. As always, we encourage you to keep exploring, stay curious, and join us next time for another deep dive into the world of AI.
Until then, keep those minds buzzing.
See you next time.